Have you ever felt like you are trapped in poverty, like it's an escape room, like it's a maze, like it's someplace that feels like no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try, you can't get out? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can finally, once and for all, for the rest of your life, escape poverty programming trap. Because poverty program, why do I say escape the poverty programming trap? Because poverty can't exist in your experience unless it first exists in your expectation, or in the expectation of someone who was responsible for you while you were growing up in the world. So we have to understand that poverty is a mindset, just like wealth is a mindset. And we talked about that on other videos, like the difference between rich people, poor people, middle class people is not how much money they have, but it's how they think about money and what they think the primary purpose of money is. Poor people think the primary purpose of money is paying bills. So therefore, every time they get some money, they go pay some bills. So to them, it's not even payday, it's transfer day. We talked about the fact that to middle class people, they think the primary purpose of money is to buy things they can't afford and pay their bills on time so they can maintain good credit, so they can buy more things they can't really afford. But rich people believe that the primary purpose of money is to turn it into more money before you spend any of the money that you just made. That's the mindset that makes the difference. That's the programming that makes the difference between poor people, rich people, and middle class people. Now, why do we talk about programming? What's another reason we talk about programming? We talk about programming because understand this, we will never behave consistently in a way that's inconsistent with our programming. Your programming produces more of your results than your conscious thinking does. Like, it's ingrained in you. It's ingrained in me. But you can change the programming. And if you've been programmed for poverty, you will be poor until you change the programming. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to escape the poverty programming trap. So what's the first thing you have to do? Well, you have to understand that poverty programming is a trap and that you need to escape. One of the things we have to do if we want to escape the poverty programming trap is we have to learn how to have a vehement hatred for poverty. Like, the reason I'm not poor is because I hate poverty so much, I beat it as far away from my door as I possibly could, and then I beat it some more. I hate poverty. I hated, and maybe you don't. Maybe you hate not having other people's approval more than you hate not having your own autonomy. I don't know. Maybe you hate people thinking you're crazy more than you hate not having enough money in the bank. Like, I don't really, Myron, you're so obsessed with money. I don't really care if you think that. I don't care. I hate being broke more than I hate you thinking that. And until you hate, like, being broke and having to rob Peter to pay Paul until there's a knock on the door one day, and it's Peter and Paul, and they're both there standing with their hands out talking about, I want my money today. Right? If you're tired of living like that, I got tired of living like that. I got tired of living a life where I made this beautiful woman all these great promises, and now here she is, 8 months pregnant with our first child, and our electricity and our water are both disconnected. Not because I wasn't willing to work hard, I was working hard, but what I was working on wasn't working for me. It was working on me, but it wasn't working for me. And I got tired of having to tell my children no before I even knew what the question was, because I knew we didn't have enough money to buy it. I got tired. I hated the fact that when we got ready to go on vacation, after working hard for a whole year, we're going to take a 2-week vacation. We're going to take 2 days and drive from Pennsylvania to Florida, because we lived in Pennsylvania at the time. My wife's parents lived in Florida. I said Pennsylvania to Florida. Pennsylvania to Texas. My wife's parents lived in Texas. We drive for 2 days to spend 10 days with our in-laws, and then drive for 2 days to get back home. I hated that. That's what vacation was. Vacation wasn't going to Hawaii. It wasn't going to Greece. It wasn't going to Israel. It wasn't going to Europe or going to Mexico or going to Canada and spending a week in Banff. It was just like you go and you work on vacation so you can spend time with your family because there's no other time. I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated the fact that the 4 months of my married life that I was on welfare, yes, I was on welfare for 4 months. I hated when I was sitting in that welfare office and that woman said to my wife, she said, we could give you more money if he wasn't in the house. First of all, he has a name. Second of all, it's not the house, it's our house. You see how I got an attitude. You say, why? Because I hate poverty. I hate what it does to people. I hate that poverty forces people to eat junk food because they can't afford real food. I hate the fact that poverty causes people to drive raggedy cars that cause them to get in accidents because they can't afford a car that'll keep them safe. I hate poverty. And until you hate poverty, you will not beat it far away from the door enough that you don't have to deal with it anymore. So you have to hate poverty. That's like, you want to escape the poverty programming trap? Like, just develop a disgust with being broke. Develop a disgust with not having enough money. Like, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's right. The love of money is the root of all evil. But you don't even know what that verse means. Like, people who quote it to me on YouTube, it literally makes me chuckle every time I read it. Money's the root of all evil. First of all, it doesn't say that. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Myron, it does say love money. It does say love of money is the root of all evil. But the key word in that verse is the word all, which means all types, all manner, all kinds. It does not mean all, every single solitary. The love of money is clearly not the root of every single solitary evil in the world. Like, think about it. It can't be. The love of money is the root of all types, all kinds, all manner of evil. What does it mean? The love of money is the root of all evil means people will do all types of things if they love money, right? For the love of money, people will sell drugs to children. For the love of money, pharmaceutical companies will sell drugs to the population that they know will harm them. For the love of money, cigarette companies will sell tobacco. The love of money is the root of all types, all kinds, all manner of evil. That's what it means. So if you want to quote it in its context with its definitions and understand what you're talking about. Anyway, I hate poverty. I hate it. I loathe it. It's disgusting to me. I hate what it does to people. I hate what it does to families. I hate the arguments that it causes between husbands and wives, and the arguments that it causes between children and parents. And I hate the fact that there are people living in the dark right now because they don't have money. There are people living under a bridge because they don't have money. Like, at some point in their life, they did not hate poverty enough to beat it away from the door. I hate it that much. Like, I really hate poverty. I hate inconvenience. What do I mean when I say hate poverty and hate poverty's partners? What are poverty's partners? Poverty has a lot of partners. I'm going to name 4 partners that poverty has. I'm going to name 4 partners of poverty that you have to hate, and you have to hate them enough to keep them away from you, far enough away from you, so they don't rob you of all your chances. So the first one that I'm going to name is sleep, or I'm going to put sleep/laziness. The Bible says, love not sleep. This is what it says. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. So people, oh, you love sleep. I don't love sleep. I sleep because it's essential. I like the way sleeping makes me feel. I like the way it makes me feel. I like feeling rested more than I like feeling tired, but I don't love sleep. Sleep is not an objective in itself. It's an objective for an objective. And that objective is to be rested enough to go out and create something that other people value enough to pay me for it, so I can live my life without being in poverty, because I hate poverty. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but I'm emphasizing that because I am telling you, until you get to the point where you hate poverty, like when I was poor, I hated poverty enough not to watch the electronic income reducer. What's that? Television. For some people now, it's their smartphones, right? I hated poverty enough not to watch television. I'm not going to watch other people live their dreams while I'm living a nightmare, right? I hated it. I hated poverty enough. Like, my daughter was a teenager. She's the youngest. She was a teenager when we had a television, like with channels. She was probably 14, 15, 16 years old before we had a television. Why? Because I finally felt like I was making enough money where I could afford to watch television. I wasn't going to watch it while I was broke. Why? Because I hated laziness. I hate sleep. So sleep, that's 1. 2, gluttony. So gluttony, what do I mean? Like, gluttony is a poverty programming trap. So the scripture says we should, like, gluttony, like eating too much. Why? Because when you eat too much, you don't have enough energy to go out and fight poverty away from your doorstep. Right? So gluttony, okay? Drunkenness. Drunkenness is also like, yeah, but man, you don't understand. I just need a drink after work because I'm just so stressed out. I submit to you that maybe you're stressed out because you're broke. And your needing a drink is keeping you broke. Now, personally, I quit drinking when I was 11. And now, as an adult, I don't have any brain cells to sacrifice on the altar of I'm stressed out. I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I don't want to be broke. Self-indulgence creates poverty. Isn't that fascinating? What creates wealth? Service to other people. Remember, I did a video on money is not wealth. If you want to see a video that would really explain what I'm talking about right now, it's called Money is Not Wealth. Money is not wealth. What's wealth? Wealth is your ability to create value for someone other than you. That's your wealth. And the greater your ability is to create a greater value for a greater number of people, the wealthier you are. So, self-indulgence leads to poverty. Now, there's another one. You ready? Can you handle it? Number 4, evil. Evil is a poverty programming trap. Why? Because poverty is the result of spiritual warfare. The opposite of rich is evil. What does that mean? Here's what it means. It doesn't mean poor people are evil. Here's what it means. It means the implication is that societies that practice evil have always been throughout human history. I want you to think about this. Have always been poor societies. Think about that. Think about the poverty of the Soviet Union. All I'm saying is evil creates poverty. And so if you're going to hate, if you want to escape the poverty programming trap, you have to hate. You have to hate poverty and its partners. And then you have to fall in love with the partners of prosperity. What are the partners of prosperity? Partners of prosperity are diligence. It's working like hard. The hand of the diligent maketh rich, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Right? You got to fall in love with serving other people. You realize all of the money that you desire right now that you don't have, it's in somebody else's pocket. They'd happily hand it over if you could provide something for them they desired more than they desired to them. How cool is that? See, your biggest problem is your biggest problem is you only think about solving your own problems. I think about solving other people's problems. Like, I obsess over other people's problems. So when you fall in love with the partners of diligence, you can be diligent, okay? I mean, you can be wealthy. Oh, how about this? Well, this is one of my favorites. Business. Business is one of the partners of prosperity. How many people do you know pay their bills on time and have lack of money? Almost none. Can I get a witness? Right? So why? Because we're not practicing these principles and we've not fallen in love with the partners of prosperity. Another partner of prosperity is wisdom.